What's good, everyone, and welcome back to Pure Glass Podcast, my creative space where I keep things all the way transparent and give my review and unpopular opinion on movies. So, child, there's been a new movie out on Prime Video, Tyler Perry movie. I'm sure everyone has either heard of it or at least seen it by this point. It's called Divorce in the Black. Okay, I Tyler Perry. So I got gist of this new movie from Facebook. You know, I get my ratchet news from Facebook, and everyone was just going in on, of course, the wardrobe, wigs not being glued down all the way, etc., etc. The usual stuff that we get with Tyler Perry movies, you know. But honestly, it took me a couple days to watch it because it was so many horrible reviews on my end. So I'm like, let me just, check it out for myself, see what this movie is about, and if it's even as bad as people are making it seem, right? So, put the movie on, checked it out. My son was asleep. I had just time, peace, and quiet to just focus and watch this movie, right? In the beginning, I was a little confused because it just started off with the shits. They're at this funeral. We see Megan come in and try to be some type of mediator and just overextending herself to help make things right. Of course, when you watch this movie the first time and within the first couple of 20 or 30 minutes, you would assume that there's something off of Megan Good. Like her character, you would think that there's something off of her, like she has something to do with their brother's death. You would think that she is some type of low-key troublemaker because her parents made some comment at the funeral, like, oh, that girl, she's something, or, she knows what she done, or something like that. They made some hinting comments like she's not all the way there, or she has some type of issues. So, as the movie goes on, I kid you not, I wasn't even checking for wardrobe malfunctions, nor did I spot anyone's wig peeling up. But I was actually not impressed. It could have been written a lot better, but it wasn't a bad movie. I actually liked it. I feel like the storyline was more realistic than A Fall from Grace. A Fall from Grace was a very good dramatic movie, different than Tyler Perry's usual films, and it just kept everyone engaged. I know it kept me engaged. I saw nothing but good reviews about the movie, the storyline, but of course people was talking about that guy's little fade, his wig that he wore. That shit was terrible. But the storyline, people was kind of praising it. As far as this movie, they was saying it was terrible, as well as going in with, how the studio did the actors. So I'm just like, if you take that shit aside, or just stop trying to look for stuff wrong with Tyler Perry's movies, you will see that this film is actually pretty good. I didn't really have anything bad to say about the storyline. Granted, the guy was a bit over the top, but let's not make it seem like this stuff doesn't happen in real life. That's what I'm saying. I feel like this movie, Divorce in the Black, had a more realistic storyline than A Fall from Grace, because that woman, Grace, was elder. It didn't take a genius to see that this is an elder woman, and this guy had to be in his 30s, his mid-30s, and you really feel like he was trying to bag you. Come on, that shit just didn't seem real. I feel like, I know for me, I can't speak for everyone, but for me, I was like, this seems off. It seems like a setup. He's not really into her for real, because the age gap. And it's not like she was a hot MILF. You feel me? No shade, but... So with this movie, I just felt like it was more realistic, and unfortunately, she went through abuse with her husband, and because her parents were married for so long, and her, mom told her that you stick with your man, or you stay with your marriage no matter what, you can work through those issues. You made a vow, under oath to God. They put all this pressure on her about marriage and the importance of unity, and Not to mention they were also pastors or members of the church. So that put a lot of pressure on Megan's character to believe that she had to do everything she could to keep her marriage and to make her man happy. When it was low-key draining her, he was beating on her, taking advantage of her. I think in that letter her friend wrote to her, he even spit on her at some point. So that's just not something that anyone should have to deal with for the sake of a marriage or not wanting to disappoint God. God don't want you to go through that shit. I know I'm using God's name in custom, but God knows my heart. God don't want you to go through that type of stuff just so you can maintain the vows that you promised the Lord. Like, nah. So I just felt like what I liked about the movie though is that she had a good support system. Like, not only was her friend there for her as well as her friend's husband, you know, he was kind of the middleman because he was friends with the abusive husband, but you know, he was also the husband of the girlfriend, you know, so he couldn't really, and who want to be friends with that drunk anyways? But anyways, she had the support of her friend and of her family, and I think that is what made the movie so special to me, because I'm like, you know, unfortunately, abuse has been on the forefront these last couple of years. We've seen so many celebrities, you know, publicly announce that they have been in abusive relationships. We've seen videos, we've seen like pictures and screenshots, surveillance cameras, stuff like that. This is stuff that's happening all over, whether you are famous and it's being highlighted in front of the world, or if you're someone that is not known and this stuff is happening behind closed doors. You know what I'm saying? So, I need some water. So what I'm saying is, like, I liked how this movie just showed the realism of what's happening currently in the world and how you can overcome that situation if you just have a strong support system, a good foundation, and just having that relationship with God. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have to be the most religious person, but just having some type of relationship with a higher power to just bring peace and clarity back into your life is so important. And so I think she was away with her parents in the country, because it was in Georgia. So she was outside of Atlanta in like the country, and just had some time to run again, find herself, discover who she is again, like the 30-plus-year-old version. I just thought it was a really good movie. Like, again, it could have been written better. The characters didn't have to be so dramatic, but at the same time, this is typical Tyler Perry fashion. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't really expect his movies to not be a fucking soap opera.
Do you want to lose your job, bitch?
Because they're very, very dramatic. But I feel like, again, when it comes to the storyline and the message she was trying to convey in this movie, I feel like it hit the bar. And I think most people are just, because it's a black man and because it's Tyler Perry, you know, people are just so hooked on looking for stuff to be wrong with the film, when there really wasn't anything wrong with the storyline. I'm gonna have to watch it again to see if I can find something wrong with their wigs, child, because I wasn't looking for that. But again, the storyline was good. Again, I liked how she found herself in the end, got her lick back at the end, and never looked back. She found someone who's been a long-term friend, and they had made it work. But the problem is just like, again, this stuff is happening every single day. Every single day. And these people, these men, not all of them, but, you know, the ones who are serial abusers or going around abusing women and stuff, they just have a lot of insecurities. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of insecurities, a lot of doubt and self-worth, probably horrible family members or jealous family members in their ear telling them that their spouse or their significant other is cheating on them or isn't shit, or et cetera, et cetera. Like, it's always something. This stuff is happening every single day. And again, within the last couple of years, Abuse isn't nothing new. Within the last couple of years, we've seen this on the forefront. A lot of people has been coming out about what's been going on with them behind closed doors, with the relationships and stuff like that. So again, this movie hit the mark on what's going on currently in the world, and I liked how she had that support system to kind of get her back on track and know who she is, where she's rooted from, and just had to get some time to herself and with loved ones to, again, find out who she is. And then you shouldn't be dealing with that shit. So, great movie overall. And I enjoyed it. There are a lot of people who go through this and who don't have that support. And those are the ones that we hear about who have died, who are missing. They discover their bodies in fields or freezers, cut up and shit like that. They didn't have anyone. They didn't open up to anyone, or they did open up to someone. They thought that it was not serious, or they was antagonizing the person to make things worse. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of excuses and pushback. So again, to see this movie and to see that she had that support system is awesome, because a lot of people don't have that. So kudos to Tyler Perry for this movie, for hitting it on what's currently happening in relationships in the world right now. Again, it could have been tweaked a little better, but this is classic Tyler Perry style, extra dramatic and fucked up wardrobes. So thank you so much for watching this podcast. Let me know what you thought about the review and the movie. If you have seen it, it is on Prime Video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.